should you ever rush into divorce? What do you think, Katie?
Well,
Why are you asking Katie about that?
I think people that say divorce is easy have never been divorced, because I don't think it is easy at all. I think it's really, really, really difficult. And also for them to say, you know, you should really try and work at it. In my case, absolutely, spent the last 2 or 3 years trying to work at it, but there has to come a time where you go, it's not working for either of us. I don't want to stay with somebody just because divorce is hard. Oh, sorry.
That's the ex.
Yeah, I was trying to get in.
When I split with Pete, you know, it killed me because I had to agree that he had the kids half and half, and Princess was 1.5 years and Junior was 3. And it's like, from being with me all the time to have to split them, and I did it for the kids' sake, but I would never, ever forgive that situation that I was forced to literally do it then.
But then people would say, well, why shouldn't he see the children half the time, I suppose?
But I didn't want to divorce him. I wanted to be with him, and I know damn well that if there weren't certain people in the situation at the time, we would have made up and, like, got along with it.
So are you saying you didn't talk about it then?
We've never actually sat down and spoke about it, no.
Why not? Which you were. Why did you not have access to him to actually speak about it?
There were certain people who wouldn't allow it, controlling the situation.
Like be on their own.
That's not to say kids aren't affected by divorce, because obviously they must be.
Of course.
But you have to work very hard trying to make sure it's not totally negative. And I'm terribly proud of my sons, and I don't think they've been really negatively affected. I think they're all sad that it happened.
Yeah.
But, you know, it's a life lesson, isn't it?
Yeah.
That you have to actually pick yourself up and get on with the rest of your life. And I think that's a good lesson in life, actually.
Yeah, and let's be honest, really, what's worse, being in a family that isn't splitting up because the parents want to do right for the kids but are arguing all of the time, or a broken family, you know? I think they get affected either way, whether they stay in the relationship or not.
I know I definitely hung in way too long, hoping things would change, he would change, stop doing certain things, and yeah, eventually you have to strike out, and it turns out it is the best thing that ever happened to me.
So did you sit down with the boys and tell them?
Well, what happened with me was, it'd been going on quite a while with me and Shane, and we kind of knew that it was the end, but we were still really friendly with each other. Boys never, ever saw us arguing or having a go at each other or anything like that. And what happened was, I wasn't ready yet to kind of tell the boys. I think they were 4 and 7. And I thought when I do tell them, Shane Jr. will be, because he's quite reserved even at a young age, I thought he will go off for a couple of hours and sort it out quietly in his head and then come back and might want to speak about it, might not. Jake will just go mental because Jake's very emotional. And actually I was forced to tell them in the end because a newspaper phoned me up and said it was going to be the front page the next day.
Nice, that's always nice.
So I thought, oh, I've got to tell him, because Shane was at school, and I thought I don't want him to walk into school and hear from his friends, because they had no idea at this point. So I had to go and tell them. Shane Senior himself couldn't face it. He said, you'll have to do it, I can't do this. Nice. Yeah. And so I went up and took both the boys upstairs and lay on the bed, and in actual fact it was Shane Jr. when I told him, the one that I thought would just be really cool and quiet, he curled into a fetal position and this noise came out like a wounded animal.
From my own experience, and I can only talk from my own experience and my 2 children, I have to be absolutely honest with them. And I think the times that I've tried to even cover up the slightest bit of information that I think might be negative has actually affected them much worse, because they then feel like you're being deceitful. They also feel like they don't know the whole story. They make it up in their head.
Sometimes they blame you.
Absolutely. And I think that you have to give your children the benefit of the doubt, because they're so much smarter and they can handle so much more.
Yeah, it's a balance, isn't it? Because obviously you don't want them to see all the time how dreadful it can be, and divorce, in my experience, is the most frightening thing I've ever been through. But at the same time, they need to know that it is a painful process. Otherwise, they grow up thinking, hey, you know, divorce is easy.
Yeah. Did you and Pete have to talk to Junior? Princess was probably a bit young, wasn't she?
No, me and Pete have never sat down with the kids, ever. And I've never even sat down with Pete and discussed why we split. Never.
Do you think if you had have done,
we would have stayed together?
Really?
Yeah. Really? Generally believe it. Doesn't matter now, I'm not happily married, and even when we say to Junior and Princess, you know, I have said to him, would you like me and your dad to be together? And Princess is like, oh no, I love Kieran and I love Emily. So they're quite happy. And like I say to them, well, at least you get 2 Christmases, 2 birthdays.
Yeah. I've had friends who have slagged off the dad and been really, really quite horrible in front of the children and used the children. That's very negative. And I tried to do the absolute opposite of that. Never criticised, always tried to stay calm and make the transition as smooth as possible.
And when you look back, was that the right thing to do?
No. And I did it absolutely with the best intentions for my children, so that the transition was as... I thought they needed their mum to be strong and constant, and that was all, and protective. And actually, I can see looking back, I let lots of poison and untruths be dropped into their minds about me by other people, and I never corrected them. All I said was, when you're older, you'll understand. And actually, they never saw me cry, because I wanted to show them that mum's all right, it'll all be okay. And actually, thinking about it just today, actually, it never occurred to me that they might think that I didn't cry because I didn't care. And actually, that's not the truth at all.
Do you think, though, that weirdly, not just the way you are with each other in the process of divorce, the way the friends and the people around you changes dramatically?
Definitely. I mean, with me, I don't know why, but friends of mine always seem to want my man. Then when I split up with them, they normally go to them. I have to be careful how I say this.
Talking
like there
lawyers.
was a time at Christmas with one of my ex-husbands. I turned up to pick the kids up, and one of my ex-best friends was there. So that was charming.
They're divorce lawyers. And in my experience of my friends, when they've got divorced, the problems really begin when you involve lawyers.
Well, can I just say that going through it at the moment, I don't think they like the fact that me and Ray are getting on, like we're still good friends and we're getting on. They don't like it. They want us to row. And because the more they row, the more time they spent, the more money they get.
If you want a divorce, just divorce. If one of you don't want a divorce, it's either because they're being greedy or there's always a reason. And from my past, it's the lawyers that win. They're the ones who earn the money. They love it when you argue. You know, even one of my divorces, it got down to the point where it was arguing over a bike. I mean, please, it can get really petty and you get to see their true colours, basically. It's all about greed.
But do you know what? There's also so many positives that come out of divorce. I think back to when I was younger, and when my parents divorced, they did it so brilliantly and completely put us first. My dad literally moved in a house opposite, a couple of doors down. We spent 50-50 with both parents, and it was just wonderful. I then got a new family, like an addition to my own family, not a new family, but a stepmom, wonderful stepbrothers and stepsisters, a new half-brother. It was amazing. I had the best childhood. I know that not everyone can do it like that, but there are cases where actually divorce can be a great
I just think we should put more time and effort maybe into giving everybody who's going through a divorce a counsellor, so that things can calm down, so that maybe more people can find a better way to do it.
100%.